ये दोस्ती हम नहीं तोड़ेंगे to दोस्त दोस्त ना रहा to now we don't talk anymore like we used to do. India-US ties are fading. There is a conflict and US is acting like a toxic one in the relationship. After hitting India with a 50% tariff, US is now giving mixed signals. First, its trade advisor Peter Navarro says that Russia-Ukraine war is Modi's war. Then, its Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says that India and US will come together on one page. Conflicting statements are coming from the two sides. Some reports even suggest that India and US will resume trade talks soon. And why wouldn't they? US is more desperate now. As per a German newspaper's report, Modi refused 4 calls from Donald Trump in recent weeks ahead of the tariff deadline. Trump imposed these tariffs saying that they are over Russia's relations and India-Russia relations and India's purchases of Russian oil. Then, alongside peace talks with Putin, his administration goes on to talk energy deals with Moscow. So the real reason may be to create panic in India, hit its economy and assume India would bow down to the US and open up its agriculture and dairy markets. But India stood firm on its stance. Any one-sided deal will not be agreed upon. India is confident and the government is now trying to turn this into an opportunity to bring reforms that will help the country grow in long term. It is diversifying its trade, accelerating trade talks with EU and Russia and has signed an FTA with the UK. It is bringing in GST reforms, slashing GST rates to support MSMEs and accelerate domestic consumption to offset losses from these tariffs. But the situation does not look good for the Americans. Someone has to foot the bill for these high tariffs and they are the American firms and the consumers. Tariff money might bring in a lot of revenue in federal coffers as per Trump, but American pockets will now feel the heat. In July, consumer prices rose 2.7% year-on-year. The Fed chairman says that tariffs are now starting to lift prices of heavily imported goods. As per Goldman Sachs economists, US consumers had absorbed 22% of tariff costs, but their share can be expected to raise to 67% by October. About 70% of the direct cost of tariffs will eventually fall on the consumers and total could raise to 100% as per these economists. And this happens gradually because businesses already loaded up warehouses with pre-tariff goods, but once they are over, the American consumers will suffer. The tariffs will impact the Indian economy too, but the impact will not be as much if these steps that India is taking are successful. Meanwhile, reports have exposed Trump's double standards on tariffs. A report by Reuters suggests that behind the scenes of peace talks with Russia, Trump has been exploring energy deals with Moscow. The report goes on to give some details about the deal. It says that Trump's team discussed the possibility of ExxonMobil re-entering Russia's Sakhalin-1 oil and gas project. Sakhalin-1 is one of Russia's largest energy extraction sites. Now, the project earlier had American, Japanese and Indian participation before the sanctions were forced. Then Exxon and other players had to move out. The same report also suggests that Trump's administration pitched a sale of US equipment for gas extraction at sanctioned projects like Arctic LNG 2. So the double standards are clear. The tariffs also are one-sided. While the Trump administration hit industries like textile and apparel, gems and jewelry, shrimp, furniture, carpet and more, they exempted pharma, electronics and auto because that would hit American firms like Apple and even the consumers worst. Still, a GTRI report predicts that India's overall exports, goods and services will still grow to nearly $840 billion by FY26. Services exports are expected to jump 10% and non-US goods exports by 5%. For American companies, India is a huge market and boycott calls from across the country are echoing. US brands like Meta's WhatsApp, Domino's, Coca-Cola, PepsiCo and Apple have a huge footprint in India. But rising buy local, ditch American sentiment is growing fast. So as bad as it is for India, US is also going to face the brunt, and it is going to be economically straining for American companies and consumers as well. So a deal is what Trump would desperately need now, and we'll see what happens in that front.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.